I was just asked a really good question about Noonday Artisans, and it was if we ever get to meet them or have contact with them or know which ones specific things are supporting. So yes and no. We do. So there's around 300 and some artist businesses that are partnered with Noonday as a fair trade company. The artists and partners are the owners of those businesses. So there's around 300 people that are the owners of those businesses. Every year, several owners will go to the annual gathering, which is called Shine in Texas in January, and they do speeches, presentations, and share about their business. I've heard, um, I'm just going to say like 5 or 10 speak, actually more than that, but I've heard several speak in my 3 years as an ambassador. Um, and then I'm also Facebook friends with three of them. Anna from Guatemala, Jalia from uh, Uganda, and then Eden from Kenya. And actually, I've chatted with more than that, but I don't know if I'm actually Facebook. I don't. I'm not in contact regularly with the others. So those ones I chat with online from time to time. I teach English ESL in my community, so I've practiced English with Anna, which has been really fun because she's practicing it. And then I follow several other shops on Instagram and then also several others on Facebook. So that's my personal interactions. I have a friend who was in the village that Jolly is at and knows her. She did missionary work there in that community in Uganda. And then I have another friend who actually worked at the Starfish Project, which is who does the storyline collection, and got to meet some of the women whose stories we've shared. She her sister, this is complicated, but her sister is actually one of the ones that they picked their American English name off after, so that's pretty cool. Um, and so other things like that. I've also personally worked abroad in artisan villages in India. I took art class in India and went to different artisan villages for different techniques, and then studied art in India. And then I've taught art, paper bead making in Haiti, and then also and like friendship bracelet making and that type of thing in Haiti. And then also I worked with Partners of the Americas. They partnered each state in the United States partnered with a country in South and Central America. Our university, the University of Wyoming, partnered with Brazil, and we created jewelry from primarily acai seeds and coconut. And then I was like sent to Brazil to smuggle back the seeds because they're beads, but they're seeds, so it's kind of a funny joke thing. So those three experiences were not tied specifically to Noonday. Those are all prior to Noonday by several years. Before I worked with Noonday for several years. Um, and so I also was in a sweatshop in Mexico in high school, so I was probably like that was a long time ago. But so those are kind of like my personal experiences with similar things. So then like which artisans specifically work with the people, the stories we do know those. And it's not like, so I think it's one thing too is it's not like we're not helping these poor people, right? Like that's charity, that's a handout. What Noonday is doing is providing work and artisan demand for artisan goods in the states, so that people who have jobs can sell and have a place to sell their work, and so there's a demand for their work, and so it's a business like any other business. Um, the people may change, and different people work there, and different people don't, um, and like when there's poverty and different things, like when there's stuff that happens, like COVID, for example, Noonday was one of the like companies in the United States that kept several of these businesses running, kept lights on in communities and villages. And so like we don't know who those individuals were all the time. One of the things, and also with that, Noonday has contracts, excuse me, and so half of the money is paid up front before pieces are made and half of it's paid afterwards. And so the company then distributes the money to the workers like any other business. So and they're individual contracts. We don't know the exact numbers, we don't know the exact prices. And that's largely because the people that have these jobs are oftentimes considered very wealthy, who are targets for violence and those types of things, oftentimes the very wealthy people, right? Not, I shouldn't say wealthy, but the workshops have been broken into and there's been fires set and different things like that. Because when you have a situation in poverty and there is a business that's doing well, especially like specifically in India with, I want to say it was Sunita. I don't remember. I heard her speak. I think it was Sunita. Her shop, the one who started the paper, I don't remember I'm forgetting the name. The one who started the paper shop in India. It's been going, I believe, for about 20 years. When she started it, she had like mobs of men, like trying to push her out. Like they didn't want their women working. They didn't want the women out of the house. Like, if you're familiar with Indian culture, that's not a surprise. For a rural community, a rural lower income community. And so like she had to fight through this to get the workers. So like, and so there's that type of thing, but also like with Storyline Collection and then also other ones, it's for their safety. Like you don't want to know the names. Like we don't know the locations. The people that have traveled there do know like the exact locations. And I have a friend who's from Guatemala. He's seen my post and he's like, oh, I know what village it's in. He grew up near that village. So different things like that. Like there, and also like I speak Hindi and like I've studied culture a lot, and so like there's things I know. I'm like I can pick up based on like things I see in the videos, or like I might see the language on the signs and be like, oh, that's Bengali, or oh, that's like whatever. So things like that. Like you can pick up things, but you don't always know the details. And most of that is for safety. Like with the contracts, the exact numbers, it's based on fair pay within a livable wage within that community and that culture. And so it's not like the numbers to Americans aren't really known as much. One of the numbers that was passing around several years ago was every $500 or $550 sustained one artisan for about a month. So the average party sustains one artisan for about a month. The numbers we're using now, like the official ones that we've been given, are, I'm gonna see if I remember it. I believe it's $150 supports one class for a scholar and one artisan for one day. And then $750 would be an artisan for a week. An artisan for a week, and then 1 day's worth of classes instead of one class. I believe that's how it. So it'd be 7 days, 7 hours, I did that math all wonky, but so we know the numbers of people that are going. And like I think too, sometimes it's like one of the programs. There's the Sunrise and Sunshine Scholars, which are the grade school, and then the college students in Uganda specifically, but also they've done it in Guatemala. And so those are, we know that those are sending kids to school, college-aged girls, and then children. And with that one, it would also be inappropriate to know the names and like the specific individuals. So I hope that helps. I guess I've also worked with refugees and worked in refugee camps in the United States and also in Italy, and doing those types of things. Like the situations are really tricky. So yes, we don't. So we the artisan partners we have more communication with, and the artisan partners all speak English, so that makes it much easier. I shouldn't say they all speak English. More of them speak English. Anna's learning, and then Jalia and Uganda's people in Uganda speak English. But then like Fermin, who passed away, his son Franco, he now owns that shop. I've heard Fermin speak, and his son his son translated. So things like that. I heard, oh my goodness, Fermin and then his son translated, sorry. So anyways, things like that. So yes, we know the artisan partners. A lot of people have met them all in person. And so like, yeah, and then also every year, I want to say probably 30 to 50 people travel about with Noonday, ambassadors travel. And so people have been to a lot of the artisan shops and facilities, and so then actually we have photos from those. So I can show you, actually, if you join my group, join my Noonday group, my fair trade group, and I can show you a bunch of photos of artisans that are working. A lot of the stories are the people that they're named after, and so if it's a safe situation, we might have the name of a piece named after one of the workers, and then that would be another example as well. So there you go. That's the long version. I'm going to make a short version of this.